Hey there guys, how's it going? So we received absolutely tons of new content yesterday with the update to the game. It was a brand new month, so in addition to the regular content updates we also got the brand new PvE Coliseum with Attack Boost 8 entering the fray for next month's skill, which is... I guess that number just keeps climbing up and up and up forever. I suppose there's going to be really no stopping it, so... new Union Cross, obviously, so go ahead and make sure you do that. And the new monthly gem challenge, so 5 more gems to go ahead and pick up. Make sure you do all that. So in addition to the regular content, there was a bunch of new stuff as well. There was this training stage, which I guess I can talk about that later. It's not exactly the PvP simulator that I hoped it would be, but you can sort of use it to replicate some PvP setups. I can talk about that later if you guys are interested. We also have the Chasm of challenges, we'll talk about that in a second. The Take No Damage challenge, now I do want to come back to that because it's really difficult, and when I get a better handle on it, I want to add a guide for it. But in the meantime, we can get through the Chasm of challenges. It's a very, very different challenge in that I found I can turtle this one very, very easily, whereas the Take No Damage challenge, by design, you cannot turtle that one. So in terms of the stuff we can turtle, I guess I'll go through like the final 3 setups here, just so you guys can have a little look. Okay, so essentially I'm utilizing a turtle strategy here. Hopefully you guys can replicate this because it does require the Mrs. Incredible and the Violet from a little while ago, but these medals, hopefully everyone should have picked up because it was a pretty good banner, the Incredibles one. I know a lot of people missed it because the medals are only, you know, tier 4 or tier 5, and in terms of like raw damage out, they weren't incredible, to pardon the pun, but these, just the Violet and the Mrs. Incredible are so friggin' useful. I really hope people got a chance to pick them up. Anyway, what we have here is essentially a very, very, you know, expensive to run Keyblade because it's so, you know, only has 10 gauges with it. Effectively trying to cast Violet as often as I can after the 3rd turn of casting that, because her effect lasts for 4 turns, you'll be at max defensive capabilities every turn from that point onwards, and in conjunction with the fact that our defense is really high from Violet, their offense is really weak from Mrs. Incredible, they more or less can't touch it if we have a defensive skill on. So I'm rocking defense boost 4 max right there, and I think defense boost 5 on the Mother, far more than enough. And from that point onwards, you just need some damage output and some gauge restore, both of which are taken care of, well, the buffs at least are taken care of by Shion, and then just damage dealing medals. I end up using Lexaeus here, and not Riku, honestly, because Lexaeus, luckily enough for me, has a ground defensive trait on it, which is really, really nice. The fact that Riku doesn't, even though he's still a very, very powerful medal in his own right, means that he only deals 1 damage to this damn crab. So actually, I'm going to go change the setup right now. Okay, so we'll just switch it up a little bit there. So I've got my defensive and offensive debuffing medals at the front, Shion for gauge restore, and then 2 medals that I hope will do some damage. I know that Lexaeus definitely will, and I'm hoping that given that Sykes B is a 7-star medal that it will as well. But like I said, a 6-star copy medal just didn't quite have the strength to do it. Effectively, all we really need is damage because, again, these 2 medals right here are going to take care of literally everything for us. They're going to be our defensive buffers, and from that point onwards, it's just deal damage as quickly as you can. To that end, I'm taking Bob and Jack with me, but I don't expect many people to have a medal like this. I just got extremely lucky when I rolled my high score challenge medal recently, so... But whatever high damage medal you have, just to speed up the process. But I'll show you guys really quickly just the setup again, if you want to see it in action, but I'm not going to make you sit through the whole thing because it would take probably 5-10 minutes to clear it all. But anyway, I'm lucky enough again that my Violet has extra attack, but I'm saying if you have, you know, if you're able to survive 1 or 2 rounds, like with second chance, and then the pet version of second chance, by that point your Violet will be at, will have 3 casts on her, and therefore you'll be at max defensive debuff, so you'll be completely fine. Like say it's coming in. I've also configured it this way because I need Bob and Jack, in my case, to have 9 gauges at the end. Look at that damage. And to that end, obviously we need, you know, a little bit of gauges left, so keeping it on auto, I don't really need to just because we will defeat it right now. But yeah, obviously the setup only works for me because I've got particular gauge saving medals. If you don't have the exact configuration of gauge saving medals, deal as much damage as you can per turn, keeping in mind that your defensive debuffs are what are going to make you live. So if you run out of gauges by the end of the Keyblade and therefore you can't cast them again at the start, like you don't necessarily need to cast Violet every single turn once you've got those initial buffs laid out, but Mrs. Incredible you will need to cast every single turn. Obviously keep that in mind. Again, I just set it up so that I always have 9 gauges left for Mr. Incredible. You might be thinking, why not put Shion first? But Mrs. Incredible Violet won't be doing any damage. The fact that they're 7 stars means basically nothing here, just because if they were behind Xion, they would still be doing 0 damage, just because they get no benefit from Dark Gnaw. So anyway, that's pretty self-explanatory. Take care of this enemy quite quickly. Yeah, they have really, really high defense. The Chasm of Challenges effectively is going to be continue to be updated from this point onwards, so I assume, you know, the level cap right now, sorry, there's only 15 quests right now, but I imagine it's going to be going up and up and up from here. Same again with this enemy right here. DB4 max plus effectively the current cap of defensive and offensively debuffing buffs that we have right now. What a sentence that was. Means that as powerful as this thing is, it still can't touch us, which is really, really cool. So, again, with Violet being cast twice, I'm at +3 general defense for each cast, so I'm at +6 general defense right now. We can get up to +7 when we get a cast next turn. And that's what I mean. If you don't have extra attack on it, that's effectively fine, so long as you have second chance and the pet second chance. Just so long as you're casting her at least once every single turn. By the third onwards, you'll be pretty much fine. Be aware though, this thing can put you to sleep. In that case, you might potentially want to consider bringing a copycat medal along with you. Like, I'm bringing defense, Xion for gauge restore and buffs, and then 3 damage dealing medals. If it's the case that you might want to take it a little bit slower and do defense, copy backwards, defense, if, you know, just it'll take a little bit longer, but at least you'll survive and get through it, is what I'm trying to say. So, yeah, I'm keen to see what's going to happen with the new set of like Chasm of Challenges. I don't know how long this content was expected to last us for. Obviously, it isn't like extremely difficult with the current level of defensive buffs. Without those defensive buffs, though, I've been in a bit of trouble, I reckon, because I don't know, my Dark Gnaw is not particularly strong. I don't have much in the way of reverse power, but well, I say that I'm casting Lexaeus Plus, but I don't know. I'm definitely keen to see what else they come up with. Anyway, yeah, I mean, you've seen effectively all there is to see at this point. It's just going to be the same thing over and over again, so I'll quit out now and show you the second one. Okay, number 14, we got to use Fairy Stars, which is really, really cool. That was my raid setup. Yeah, I think just for safety, I went ahead and did another defensive setup here. But, again, I'm pretty sure I didn't really need it on this one, I think. Just with how lucky I got with that Roxas Prime having negative aerial on it. I think I was more or less able to take this thing out pretty quickly, but again, defensive strategy is completely fine here, so up to you what you want to do. It's a little bit less tight on gauges this time around, obviously with Fairy Stars having that much, you know, much higher amount of natural gauges to it. It's not as restricting as like a Dark Gnaw or a Missing Ache or a Diamond Dust, which is pretty nice. Good lord, I cannot wait to upgrade that thing to 7 stars, man. I'm so looking forward to that. I love this Roxas medal, seriously. If you are considering picking up that tier 5 Roxas and Prime or Illustrated Roxas, I definitely recommend it. I know that people are saying maybe get the higher power fairies. I agree with that. I don't know. They're both good, in my opinion. Just like 200 for one fairy is a lot, whereas, you know, 400 for 5 traits on one of these medals will probably take you a lot further than 2 tier 8 fairies would, in my opinion, but I don't know. 7-star medals are great, man. Oh dear. Okay. Again, like defensively, even if you can't take him out as quickly as I can, it doesn't really matter, just as long as you take him out eventually. So just turtle, damage as much as you can, eventually you'll get there. Again, just like 7-star medals and either negative ground or negative aerial for the enemy. Like, of course, this one right here requires aerial. Just go ahead and filter your medals out. Filter medals by aerial. They'll all fit on the pad slot no matter if you have, you know, upright, reverse, power, speed, magic, no matter what it is. Whatever, preferably 7-star medals and preferably with a decent skill on it. Get your defensive buffs, go to town. Good lord, that is so damaging. As is that, to be perfectly honest. That, man, I got very, very lucky with those pulls. Okay, we took that one out nice and quickly. You know, casual 400,000 lux there. Let's go have a look at the third and final. Alright, number 15, a little bit trickier again because we're again forced to use a different Keyblade. This one being Fenrir. Not too bad, just again, I'm sorry to bore you guys, but again, I went with turtle strategy here, so nothing too exciting. Again, Fairy Stars was nice because we could have taken it out in one turn, just because I have a really nice Fairy Stars, I suppose. I've, you know, spent a lot of gems trying to upgrade that thing, and it has quite paid off for me. But again, nothing wrong with the good old rusty but reliable turtle methods. Again, if you missed out on Mrs. Incredible or Violet, there are going to be more defensive medals coming out soon. the new Arva medal, if you missed my update video, I was like, it's probably going to have defensive buffs, and lo and behold, it actually did, which is pretty cool. So, it depends if it's going to be a Mercy here or not, and even if it is a Mercy in our version of the game, it will likely be a very expensive Mercy. So, as much as I'm saying, yeah, it'd be really, really cool to have Arva as a defensive medal, of course it would, but that might be, you know, saying it would be one thing, getting it would be quite another, so I don't know, I'm sure there will be more defensive medals coming out in the future, but if you missed out picking up either Violet or Mrs. Incredible, I don't know, if that is the case, maybe leave me a comment and we can see what else we can do. In that case, it might be a matter of just trying to really out-damage your way through it, which again might be easier said than done. But then again, the one we just versus then wasn't too bad, that the Queen Bee wasn't so bad, only because it had like only 5,000 bars of HP, and it wasn't really all that bad. But I mean, this thing right here has over 3 times as much HP. Bloody hell. But again, I'm just going to show you here again that you can turtle your way through it, I think. I mean, I must be able to. I did it once before, so turtling must have worked. I've only got Hades in here just because I pulled him and he fits kind of well in slot 4 in the Fairy Stars. Oh, and he came with a natural attack boost 6 max, so I was like, you know what? I'm going to use him. Oh, sorry, it fits on Fairy Stars and on Fenrir in slot 4. And again, obviously Bob and Jack Jack is a pretty special medal, so if you don't have that, I completely understand. Actually, in my case, it'd probably be better to use a different medal. Oh, right, that's right. So, same again. This is where the big difference matters in having +6 general defense to +7. So, I died that first turn, get brought back to life with Asuna, and then with the Pet Revive, and then once I cast Violet again, now I'm at +7. So you'll be able to see right now I'm at +7 general defense, which I think from that point onwards lets me live. I think. I mean, again, I've completed the challenge, therefore I must be alive, so I must have successfully beaten it, so. It's beautiful Bob and Jack Jack. Actually has negative ground on it, so maybe you'd be better off using a negative aerial medal right there. But anyway, in they come. Yeah, and so that's the big difference between +7 general. I mean, obviously that attack's a bit weaker anyway, but he'll do that like Fire Breath attack again, and I'm pretty sure I tanked that like just this time around. So, if they make enemies more tricky than this, either our defense is going to have to go up, or our ability to debuff them is going to have to go up a little bit more. Again, Master Arva will have better offensive debuffs than Mrs. Incredible will, so again, if you can try and get her, if you really need a defensive medal, that might be the way to go, but I wouldn't even consider pulling any medal until we know what all the foretellers do. Obviously, we only know Arva exists at this point, and to be fair, Arva could be the only one that comes out. There might not be any more foretellers. I hardly doubt it. I'm assuming there will be the full set, but I wouldn't go ahead and pull on anything until you know for certain which one you want, especially players that have limited resources like any free-to-play, basically. Anyway, I'm basically stalling right now so to get this damn challenge over with. Come on, mate, let's go. I guess I can mention the training stage really quickly. The training stage is interesting. It's a cool idea in theory. It's just not the perfect PvP simulator I kind of hoped it would be. I was really hoping for like, I don't know, because like damage output is one thing. Oh, if you don't know, sorry. You enter in a stage, right, and it might be like single ground enemy speed type, for example. So you'll spawn into a stage, you'll have a defender on your left, sorry, like a soldier or a shadow or whatever on your left, which is really, really easy. You just defeat that thing when you're ready to complete the stage, basically. And on your right will be an enemy with effectively infinitely regenerating HP. So you want to go ahead and test out your damage on the enemy on the right. So bring in your most powerful setup, go ahead, it'll have like 50,000 bars of HP to start with. Do as much damage as you can in one turn, and it will effectively regenerate that all back. So, if you deal, let's say, you know, it goes from 50,000 bars of HP down to like, I don't know, 38,750 or something, that means that you've dealt, you know, 12,250 bars. I don't even know what number I just made up. 2 million lux for beating that. I guess we can actually have a look at it now. I'll cut to... Okay, so like I mentioned, there's an enemy over here, and it will have 50,000 bars of HP. So you want to go ahead and just wall up this thing as much as possible, and find out how much damage you do to it. The reason I've gone ahead and picked this stage here, okay, if you want to try and replicate PvP as much as possible, again, it's very limited to what you can try and do, but you can, you know, sort of do your best. What I mean by that is, in PvP, an enemy will always be neutral attribute to you, right? You will never be able to defeat an enemy that has, you know, you won't be able to ever do super effective damage to it. I mean, you technically can, but it's kind of complicated to explain. Effectively, some medals will have super effective damage that you'll be able to deal, but it's not truly of an attribute. It's not either power, speed, or magic. It's like a made-up attribute. Anyway, that's so off topic what I'm trying to talk about. What I mean is, I'm versing a speed enemy right now because, let's say, for example, it's a week with single attribute Keyblades on it, like Sleeping Lion, for example. So I'm bringing in my Sleeping Lion here against this grounded speed type enemy because my hits should all be dealing neutral damage, right? So I can get an idea of, okay, that's how much damage I'm dealing to a neutral enemy. And again, you could try that out with different Keyblades. Of course, it isn't perfect because you have the tricolor Keyblades, the dual color Keyblades, and you can even have different attributes within the single attribute Keyblade anyway. So definitely not perfect. These enemies seem to have quite a decent bit of defense because, again, you know, I'm using a 6-star medal right here, and even though it's copying quite a powerful multiplier, it is just bouncing off him. So I would like it if they had a little bit less defense, just because that's not really a true representation of PvP, I suppose. But you know what, hey, what can you do? So anyway, I guess I'll leave you guys with the daily pulls that we're getting. Really, really awesome that we're getting these daily pulls. If you aren't aware, hang on to the Moogle medals if you do manage to get them. If you're brand new to the channel, well, I guess I can show you what they look like as well. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and do a pull off that banner there in the shop. It's going to try, well, you're going to hopefully get a chance of getting one of those little Sora and Moogle medals that you can see on the very bottom of the screen there with Kingdom Hearts 2 Sora. Effectively, they're going to be just like this. It's a medal that really has no other purpose except for you to hold it in your inventory. When the end of the month happens, effectively all those medals will be counted up. So all of the Sora, Kingdom Hearts 2 Sora and Moogle medals will be added up, and effectively you receive 1,000 jewels for each of those medals you have in your inventory. After that, they really have no purpose, and I suppose you could either sell them or get rid of them if you want to, but I've just kept all mine around from the previous versions of this draw, just for commemorative sake, basically, because, you know what, they're pretty darn cool. So I'll just leave you guys with the pull that I did today, and I guess I can wait a few hours, I suppose, and do tomorrow's pull as well, put it all into one video. So yeah, enjoy the 2 pulls that I did, and I'll see you guys soon. I'll try and do that take no damage challenge, but it's pretty rough. All the best, guys. Take it easy. Bye. Pull number 1. And again, for anyone that gets like really, really good stuff off this banner, I definitely want to hear about it. So go ahead and post it in the... Yeah, there you go. Like a little 4-star reverse, but hopefully something I don't have. Hey, that's actually not too bad. Alrighty, and pull number 2. I've already seen people getting some pretty decent stuff off this banner, so yeah, if you do get anything decent, definitely let me know. My god, I can't talk. In the Discord, but yeah, some garbage most likely for me. There we go. Alrighty. Alrighty guys, good luck. See you guys soon. All the best.